I think that's what's been interesting about Clinton is that you have because like I mean Barry also as well. There's like a rich history of the character now, and like through like the paranormal podcast, Clinton's podcast, you start to like, and that's why that's what I love about I'm a big Alan Partridge fan, and I know you were recently in This Time, and
with my bare bottom, yes.
And I actually kind of forgot that you were in This Time, not because of your performance. Brilliant.
Forgot how big my arse was. God, yeah.
Yeah. But I was rewatching that episode the other night, and I was like, oh, bloody hell, yeah, Alex is in this one.
Yeah, nice.
But that's what I love about those like comedy characters is like, like someone like Partridge, he's been going for such a long time now, and you like the history of the character, and you get like little details that are constantly revealed to you. And it's the same with Clinton now, which I'm really enjoying. And it's the same, it's the same with Barry. And that's, I think, the fun thing of character comedy is that you can sort of invest in them as people,
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Thanks for that, because there's always a worry you're just going to overdo it. People say, "Oh, just tell us a joke. I don't really care who his sister is or whatever." But the thing that is probably the central difference with character comedy. Once again, I hope I didn't say this in the last time we spoke, but Dan Skinner, plays Angelos. Very often we're both gigging on a Saturday night or Friday night, whatever it is, and we both get very, very nervous. I've always suffered from nerves. It just feels, there's a big sea of expectant faces sitting there. And sometimes if you're headlining, it's even more scary because it's a bit like, well, who's the headliner? Come on, this had better be good. And very often I'm texting him from somewhere going, I'm not feeling this. I'm in a dressing room full of comedians, all very confident, talking about promoters and stuff. I don't really know what they're talking about. And Dan always feels the same. And I think what happens is you forget in that instance, you're thinking about they've got this wonderful material, which is all about the material on stage. And you forget that you're bringing this character as well, which is kind of 50% of the laughs are invested in this character and the way the character would do this stuff. So it's not the same as doing straight stand-up. And so in the kind of terror of waiting to go on, you're going, oh, God, I haven't got any jokes as clever as that. But you forget you're bringing this other thing. So I suppose that's sort of also the difference with character comedy, that any, generous audience will go, I get it. Okay, I'm investing in this character. So that's a kind of lovely thing to know you've got in your armoury, particularly if you're worried about how good your material is.
Do you find it easier? I know you've said before that you don't particularly like going off script, and that's why you feel more of an actor. But is there also a sense of that it can be easier to improvise when you're in the character because you sort of know the character so well? It's a bit like it is kind of that acting thing of like the character, so how they would behave in a situation. Is there that aspect to it as well?
Definitely, and I'm much better at that stuff now, having done 2 long tours. And the main problem I find I have to do is people going to the toilet the whole time. Audiences up and down the country, particularly my middle-aged audience, don't seem to be able to go 10 minutes without needing a piss. So that is the thing I find and it's so distracting. It's so distracting. People don't realise. And they try to do this creeping out thing. Everyone can see you. And you've come down the middle of this, high, bank of seats, and you sort of come down the middle and then try and sneak out across the stage sometimes. So I'm probably a bit better now at dealing with that. But you're right. For that to come from the character is much easier